Divine grace, Abhay Charanaravil Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Raj Bhagavat Mahapuran ki Jai Gaur Premanand Hari Hari Bol Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nishtaki. We are reading from Shrimadbhagavatam, Canto 1st, Chapter 7th, text number 28. Nahi asyanyatamam kinchit astram pratyavakarsanam jahastejah unnadham stragyo hi astratejasa nahi asyanyatamam kinchit astram pratyavakarsanam jahi astratejam nadham astragyo hi astratejasa nahi asyanyatamam kinchit astram pratyavakarsanam jahi streja unnadham astragyo hi astratejasa. Anyone would like to repeat?
Nahi asya anyatam
Tamam kinchit
astram
अस्त्रं प्रत्यवकर्षणम् जहिस्तेज उन्नतम् अस्त्रज्ञो यस्त्रतेजसा
नाहि अस्त्रकृतं किञ्चित्
अस्त्रं प्रत्यवकर्षणम् जहस्त्रतेज उन्नतम् अस्त्रज्ञो यस्त्रतेजसा न no he certainly asya of it anyatamam other kinchit anything astram weapon prati counter avakarshanam reactionary jahi subdue it astra teja the glare of this weapon unnadham very powerful astragya expert in military science he as a matter of fact astra tejasa by the influence of your weapon. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Mahachacharya Bhaktivedanta Swami Shrimadbhagavatam Shrimadbhagavatam ki Jai. Translation: O Arjuna, only another Brahmastra can counteract this weapon. Since you are expert in military science, subdue this weapon's glare with the power of your own weapon. Purport: for the atomic bombs, there is no counter weapon to neutralize the effects. But by subtle science, the action of a Brahmastra can be counteracted. And those who were expert in the military science in those days could counteract the Brahmastra. The son of Dronacharya did not know the art of counteracting the weapon, and therefore Arjuna was asked to counteract it by the power of his own weapon. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeyaham Shri Guru Shri Yudapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanitam Tam Sajivam Savadam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishamahamritamsha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vashyata Deshatarine Vangshakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauravvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Shridharaya Paramatmane Shrimadbhagavatam Sumatrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namah Jayatam Surato Pangor Mamandamateri Matsarvasya Parambujo Radha Madan Mohano. Hare Krishna. I'd like to welcome all the assembled devotees here in morning Shrimadbhagavatam class, and I would also like to seek blessings of all the devotees present here so that I can discuss something very significant from the Shrimadbhagavatam. Although Shrimadbhagavatam is festival of all the Vedic literature, as we have heard in the previous Shrimadbhagavatam class. Why Shrimadbhagavatam is festival? Because it is the conclusion of all Vedic literature. It is not a discussion. It is a conclusion. So when Shrimadbhagavatam is read, one's intellect is fully satisfied with the conclusions of Vedic literature. One need not to experiment anything with the conclusions of Shrimadbhagavatam. It is just to be taken and grasped in our life. Like it is compared with a ripened fruit. Nigam kalpataro kalitam phalam sukmukhal amrit dravya samritam. It is ripened fruit. A ripened mango fruit without any seeds in it. So it can just easily it can be solved. So this is such a ripened fruit in Bhagavatam. From anywhere you read it, it will give you the perfect message, the perfect blessings, and the perfect fortune. And that is why Srila Prabhupada has created the system of studying Srimad Bhagavatam every day. Though we are not perfect, but knowing that we are imperfect, that is our perfection. If a jiva knows that he is imperfect, it means he is going towards perfection. And if he knows that he is imperfect, but by taking shelter of literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam, which are Amal Purana, perfect Purana, and by taking shelter of devotees like Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, who is perfect, who is a pure devotee, our imperfection will gradually fade away and will also become a perfect personality just by following him. So this process of devotional service is very easy, very simple, but not easy. As many times it is said that devotional service is very simple. Though it is simple, but it is not easy to follow the simple things. Because our mind has become so much complex. So it is our great fortune that we are reading and discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. That too in a temple where Srila Prabhupada was present for. He was here for so many days. He stayed here, and he was very proudly saying, "This is one of our best temples in the world." So it is a great fortune. This temple is filled with memories of Srila Prabhupada. And yesterday, when I saw a photo where Srila Prabhupada was sitting there in front of temple, and there were around hundreds of devotees in that one picture. And that time there were around 200 brahmacharis also. Someone told me that there are around 200 Brahmachari monks were also staying here. So what a vibrant temple it was. And sure enough, it is in future also it will come up like that. So that photo was very amazing to see. Srila Prabhupada he was surrounded by so many wonderful devotees. So now, after Srila Prabhupada physically disappeared from this world, we all are trying so hard to preach, but that we can see the difference in potency of Srila Prabhupada, and somehow or other we together also cannot match his pace with which Srila Prabhupada preached in this Western country. So that is why I again say that to realize Prabhupada mantra, His pranam mantra, Pashat Desha Karini. One will have to come here to experience this fact that how Sri Prabhupada has delivered the Western world. And it was most astonishing thing that he could preach to those persons who have never heard the name of Krishna, Ram, or Vedic literature. Sometimes we know that those who have Shraddha, it is very easy to preach to them. Those who doesn't have any Shraddha, it is very difficult. Even to strike a conversation with them, it is very difficult. It requires a Mahabhagavata to transform their hearts. There are many saints who came from India to the Western world. They all overloaded the people here with varieties of information. But there was hardly any transformation. But when Srila Prabhupada came, and he transformed everyone whosoever came in contact with Srila Prabhupada. This was the power of Srila Prabhupada. Once I was reading this analogy from Vishnu Maharaj's commentary. He was saying that though in a jungle, in a forest, there are many animals living, and they always create some sound. There are a lot of sound in jungle, but it requires only one sound, the sound of lion roaring. It just requires one sound to make all the forest silent and to make all the jackals flee away from there. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada came here and he roared, and because of his roaring, all the jackals, all the diplomacies, all the duplicities within the heart of the living entities disappeared. Because the message was so pure and the message was so authorized. So, thinking of our fortune and paying gratitude to Srila Prabhupada, I would like to discuss something on this verse. This verse is a continuation of the last verse which we have discussed in this series. And in the last verse it was mentioned that Krishna was informing Arjuna when Arjuna was perplexed that what is this glare coming towards me. So Krishna explained that Arjuna, this is Brahmastra, and who has thrown it on you? Ashwatthama. Ashwatthama knows very well how to aim a Brahmastra, but he doesn't know the vidya of retracting it. So, Arjuna, it is going to come on you. It is imminent death. I can foresee it. So, O Arjuna, only another Brahmastra can counteract this weapon. So, Arjuna was confused now what to do. So, Krishna is mentioning here, Arjuna, now only another Brahmastra can counteract this weapon. Since you are expert in military science, subdue this weapon's glare with the power of your own weapon. So Krishna has identified the problem for Arjuna and he himself has given the solution. This is the power which Krishna holds, which Lord holds. We are fighting in this world, many times we are struggling. See, our profile is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna mentioned our profile. He mentioned that we are soul. In the second chapter, Krishna has already declared that we are living entities. But in 15th chapter, he mentions we are living entities, but we are part and parcel of Krishna himself. And what we are doing here, we are struggling with our mind and senses. We all are struggling with our mind and senses. This Krishna has told. So we all are struggling here very hard, and one of the reasons why we are struggling is because of our own ego. We are not surrendering to Krishna, we are not approaching him for the solution. See here, Arjuna was so powerful, but just by seeing the glare, he was totally surrendered to Krishna, because Krishna was there nearby. Instead of applying his own brain, Arjuna did surrender to Krishna. He immediately surrendered. And because of that surrender, Arjuna was saved. All Acharyas explain this. Otherwise, the Brahmastra would have easily killed the last heir of Pandavas. This would have easily killed him. And also, Maharaj Parikshit was killed. because Arjuna immediately took shelter of Krishna, that is why Maharaj Parikshit was saved. So there are things like this where we cannot do anything. Arjuna was also perplexed. He was having strength, but he was not knowing what to do. So Krishna, if we take shelter of Krishna, then Krishna can recognize the problem, identify the problem, and can give us the solution also. I'll share a very small story with you all in this connection. Like once an engineer from India, he came to US and he was very nicely placed in some company. He was getting a handsome salary. He was living a very luxurious life here. And he purchased his dream car also. Some big car of old company he purchased. And it was a very nice car. He was going to his office and various other places, sitting on that car. Once that car on the way to his office broke down. Though he was an engineer, he tried everything possible to fix it up, but somehow he couldn't fix it. And time passed by and it almost took him 6 hours, but still the vehicle was not fixed. So someone passing by, one old man, he stopped his car and he came out to check with him, what is happening with you? Do you need any help? So this person said, no, I don't need any help. What help you would offer me? I am on my own, I can do. I am an engineer, I will do whatever is required. So he was again into that car and he was trying to resolve it, but again he couldn't. That person was standing nearby, he was just watching him. And then after, like he was tired of trying, then this person, old man, again approached. Okay, I can see when I was going to office, and then when I was returning back, I saw you standing here and fixing this up. It is almost 6 hours now. Let me try. For 2 minutes, you take some breath, and then I will hand over the car to you if I am not able to resolve it. So he said, okay, I'll relax down a bit for 2-3 minutes, you can try. So that old person went and he tried, and not in 2 minutes, just in 20 seconds, he fixed the problem and car was okay, ready to go. So this person was very surprised, this engineer. He was very surprised by checking, is it working fine? And that person left the place. That old man left the place. So there were many people who surrounded them and they were like clicking photos and other things. So this car owner, this engineer, he asked, why you all have surrounded us? Have you not seen any such luxurious car ever? Or are you taking my photo? They said, no, we are taking photo of that old man. Why? We have come here to see that old man. Why? Don't you know who is? Actually, this engineer was very perplexed. How could he solve my car? How could he resolve the problem of my car within 20 seconds? I took almost 6 hours. I couldn't do anything. Within 20 seconds, he resolved. They all said, don't you know who he was? He said, no, I don't know. Oh, he was Henry Ford, the owner of this car, the one who has made this car by his own hand. Then he got the answer. Did you got the answer? Did you get the answer? Yes. Because he has made car by his own hand, that is why he could figure out what the problem was. Similarly, Krishna has made, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhumira Polo Vayu Khammano Buddhirevacha Ahankara Iti Yamme Bhinna Prakriti Ashtadha. These all 8 are my energies, my inferior energies. Or in that energy, mind, ego and intelligence are also covered. So we are struggling here with our antakarana, mind and senses. Yes, ego and intelligence is included within the mind. When Krishna says mana, shasthani indriyani, within mind all antakarana is included. So because of that we are facing problem. And who has created this mind? This mind, as we have heard last time, is the most powerful weapon in the whole world. Nothing more powerful than Even nuclear bomb is nothing in front of me. This mind is most powerful. Nuclear bomb can kill us in this life, but this mind is killing us in millions of life. It is killing us. Janam mrityu jara vyadi. Punarapi janmam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. Every time we are taking birth and again we are dying, we are working hard like anything. But still, the mind is not letting us surrender to Supreme Lord. We know that surrendering to the Lord is the best process. All of us know this. But still, this mind is not letting us take full surrender or full shelter of Supreme Lord or of the personalities like Sri Prabhupada. That is why the mind is most dangerous. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, who is the most dangerous enemy? Mind. Mind is the most dangerous enemy for everyone. Brahma Brahmaloka, from Brahma to an ant. Everyone is roaming, is being forced to roam around in this world because of the uncontrolled mind. So if we take shelter of Krishna, Krishna can easily identify the problem. And one of the purports, Krishna Chakravarti Maharaj writes that Krishna is so merciful, that even if we don't take shelter of him, just by praying to him or just by bowing down to him, Krishna can eradicate all our problems. Once I was traveling in India in a bus, and it was Raksha Bandhan Day. You all know Raksha Bandhan? Yes. So Raksha Bandhan Day, it is very rush hour in India. So many people are moving around. So I was in a roadways bus there. Have you ever been into Indian roadways buses?
Yes.
They are very crowded. And if in Raksha Bandhan they are too much crowded. So I was there and I was standing, I couldn't get the seat and most of the person they were standing. So at that time one person was talking on his phone and we were so close that when he was talking I could very clearly hear what he was talking. So he was saying on the phone that to someone he was trying to pacify him also. And he was saying, see, the best solution in this world is to just go and sleep on the lap of your mother, and though she cannot do anything, but she will pacify you. Just by sleeping on the lap of your mother, you will get completely pacified. Yes, and this is one of the most powerful solutions. If one is in stress or in anxiety, and if one knows that here is a person who loves me unconditionally and selflessly, and if one take shelter of even that material person, one get relief from all the anxieties. So what to speak of Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna? So when I was hearing that, I was remembering the words of Dhruv Maharaj, where Suniti says to Dhruv Maharaj that Dhruv, you should go to forest. Dhruva said, mother, what kind of mother you are? Everyone tries to save their child and you are sending me to this fierce forest. There are very fierce animals living in it. Why you are sending me there? Because Dhruva, I know your problem can only be resolved by Supreme Lord. You take shelter with that Supreme Lord and you will find Supreme Lord. I have heard, I am a woman, I don't know much, but I have heard to obtain the Supreme Lord, everyone goes into forest. Dhruva, you can also go in the forest and remember, I am not abandoning you, I am not sending you away from me, I am sending you to the person who is having love of millions of mothers. So from the love of one mother, love and care of one mother, you are going into loving care of a person who has love of millions of mothers. And that's how Dhruva got convinced. And Dhruva was very positive about going to forest and doing all the austerities. So in that connection it is mentioned, Dhruva went to Vaikuntha because of his mother. When there was a storm of anger happening within Suniti, at that time also she could give very calming instructions to Dhruva Maharaj. That is why this Suniti Ashtakam, she speaks 8 verses there, and those 8 verses are enough to take anyone back to Godhead. Those are very important verses which Smriti explains there. So, if one takes shelter of his mother, then also one is relieved from so many miseries. The word to speak of Krishna, who is explaining. We all have grown up singing this verse. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhu cha sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya dravidam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva devam. The similar words comes in Shrimadbhagavatam. Tvameva mata cha suhritpati pita, tam sat guruna paramam cha devatam. The similar verse comes. Krishna, you are our supreme father and you are our supreme mother. Just by going down to Krishna, he will eradicate all our miseries. And this is not some exaggeration. It is tried and tested. Many scriptures have mentioned this. Even the last verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, it also mentions. Nama sankirtanam yasya sarva papa pranashanam pranamo dukashamnas tam namami hari param. Bhagavatam last verse mentions this. It's just by paying obeisances to Krishna, all our miseries will eradicate. See, in one of the verses of Bhagavatam, very nice verse. It is mentioned, I try to remember that verse. Yes. Hasam harir avanata khila lokatira sokashushagar vishoshanamatudaram sammohanaya chitam nijamaya yasya bhrumandalam munikrite makara dhujasya. What this verse is? Hasam harir. Hasam means the smiling face of Lord. Hasam harir. If one sees the smiling face of Lord, Hasam harir avanata akhila lokatibra. So even the most miserable situation, if one is in the most miserable pathetic situation, so pathetic that he is crying out because of that situation. And he is crying so much that from his tears he has filled a whole ocean. You can see how much miserable condition he is in. From his tears he has filled up the whole ocean. If someone is in that grief, even if he comes and takes shelter of the smiling face of Lord, he sees the smiling face of Lord with great shraddha, what will happen? Krishna will evaporate the ocean of tears. Krishna will evaporate that grief, that sorrow, and will fill his heart with great enjoyment, great bliss. Why Krishna would do this? Is there any good reason? Because Ati Udaram. He is very udar, he is very magnanimous. That is his quality, that is Krishna's quality. You take shelter of Krishna and Krishna will immediately eradicate. I think we all must have experience of this. Just by going down to Krishna, he eradicates so many miseries. There is one situation where I went through. In COVID time in India, we all were having a very hard time. That time, like Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister there, he was about to impose lockdown. But one of our brahmacharis from Jaipur, he started on his bike to reach to us. We were like for some 5 hours away from Jaipur. And when he started, that time Narendra Modi had imposed lockdown, or it was imposed earlier. So when he came in our city, there was big security check, and they were not allowing anyone to enter, because our city has become the epicenter of this COVID in India at least, and it was in news. This Bada city, it was in news everywhere. So that is why there was a big security check outside. This boy was coming with a motorcycle to join us in our ashram. He ran away from his house and he was coming. Ran away or convinced parents somehow when he was coming. So that security person they stopped him. And then they said, you will have to go in quarantine center for 15 days, then only you can enter. And this boy, he was having some heart problem. And in his heart there was a big hole, and also his lungs was working on very less capacity. So we knew, and he also knew, that if he goes into quarantine center, he will surely catch COVID, and he cannot sustain, his body cannot sustain COVID. Everyone knew this. Doctor also had told him earlier, you should be away. And now they were forcing him to the quarantine center, and yes, we all were very sure that he will get COVID within 1 or 2 days only, and then nothing will be able to do. So he was calling me and he was crying like anything. I was also very disturbed that time because he left everything because of us. And now what we will reply to his parents? And that time the situation was so harsh, so hard and so tough in Bipara that it was like CM permission was required to get someone out from quarantine center. So we were calling MLAs, the MPs over there, the big people over there, but they all were telling we cannot do anything. We cannot get this person out of this place. Because if CM will call, then only this person will get out. Otherwise, he will not. And then many of us accepted this thing. But when I was also crying because I knew if he goes into quarantine center, then he will catch COVID. And it would be very difficult to save him. That time I was just praying to Krishna, and I opened my phone, and then on the what do you call it? Wallpaper. Jagannath photo was there. So I started praying because our center Jagannath was a main meeting. So I started praying to Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath, you are Jagannath. Nothing is impossible for you. I cannot do anything. I have tried everything from last 2-3 hours, and now I am surrendering to you. Whatever is your wish, let it happen. So I prayed to Jagannath. I just bowed down to that photo because our portal was closed that time. So I just bowed down to that photo in my phone, and then I went out. I thought, let me go with him. I will also remain there in quarantine center with him. With that mode, I started my bike and I was going to meet him. But as soon as I went out 2-3 kilometers, he was coming with another person. Somehow or other, the quarantine center person, they have relieved him. And I was very happy to see him back. I asked him how he got relieved. He said to me, there was no chance. There was no chance. But as someone was taking us inside the quarantine center, someone came running with a letter in the hand. I have the letter of these 2 people. And their name is this, maybe Ramesh, Suresh is their name. Are you both Ramesh and Suresh? And they were not Ramesh and Suresh. Are you both Ramesh and Suresh? They were in so pathetic situation. They said, yes, we are Ramesh and Suresh. And thinking that these 2 persons are Ramesh and Suresh, that person escorted them out of the quarantine center and they took their bike and ran away from there. They came to our place. So I have witnessed, this is one of the instances, many times we have witnessed, just by leaving our ego aside. If we just pray to Krishna that situations are beyond my control, I cannot do anything. I am a fig in front of you, Krishna. In this material world, I don't hold any power. I just want to surrender to your lotus feet. If just by these prayers, one can take shelter of Krishna. Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, everyone ensures us that Krishna will completely eradicate that problem. And even if that problem remains, that will remain for our good. That will remain only for our benefit. So, this is the way to eradicate any problem. We have this tendency of analyzing from our brain because we are very intellectual. We have studied, we have so many degrees, we have so many people working under us. So, we have this tendency of analyzing the problems. And many times, Lord of analysis leads to paralysis, and we become paralyzed, we become depressed. So Arjuna, instead of analyzing the situation, he immediately took shelter of Krishna. He takes shelter. Yes, preliminary analysis he has done that he cannot do anything about it, and then he surrendered to Krishna. Similarly, this should be our resort also. It should not be last resort. It should be one of the main resorts, immediate resorts. That we must take shelter of Krishna as soon as possible. Understanding our precarious condition in this material world and understanding that we cannot control anything in this world. If we take shelter of Krishna, Krishna will immediately get us relieved from any material miseries. Even in Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna was analyzing from his brain, you all must have gone through first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna gives so many reasons why he will not fight. Because he was analyzing from his brain. But all his reasons were leading him more into depression. The more reasons he was giving, the more depressed he was becoming. And gradually what he did, eventually he surrendered to Krishna. He speaks a very nice words and then he surrenders to Krishna. How this starts? 2.7. Karpanya doshu bhasvabhava. And even after that verse, Krishna doesn't speak. Then Arjuna speaks one more verse. Nahi prapashyami mamapanudya yat shokam shoshanam indriyana avapya bhuma vasapatna riddham rajyam surana pichadipatyam. Our Acharyas mentioned this is one of the main verses because here Arjuna is declaring his exclusive surrender. In the last verse he has surrendered to his Guru. But then Krishna says, you have mentioned Dronacharya and Bhishma Pitama also as a Guru. Guru Nahatvahi Mahanubhavan in that verse. You have mentioned them as a Guru. You have multiple Gurus. You are surrendering to me also and to them also. But then Arjuna says, no, I am surrendering only to you. So what Krishna likes is exclusive surrender. See, at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna asked two things from us. One, we have discussed in the last class. What was the first thing? Which Krishna asked? Our mind, our heart. He wants manmanabhava. You give your mind to me, you give your heart to me. And the second thing which Krishna asked is our free will. You surrender your free will to me. No matter you have faith or you don't have faith in me, just surrender your free will to me. And if someone has that kind of faith, even if one doesn't have faith, if one surrenders to Krishna, he is the most fortunate person and he can very easily overcome any situation. So here, Arjuna was also doing the same thing. He took shelter of Krishna and Krishna told him, this is Brahmastra coming towards you, imminent death. And the solution is, to counteract this, you will have to throw another Brahmastra towards it, to neutralize it. Because Ashwatthama doesn't know how to retract it or how to counteract it. He has learned only one vidya of throwing the Brahmastra. And do you know how Ashwatthama has learned this? There is a great this controversy going on outside, that Dronacharya has not taught Karna about Brahmastra, but he has taught to his own son, Ashwatthama. Yes, Dronacharya was a bit attached to his son Ashwatthama. Not a bit, he was very much attached to his son Ashwatthama. When Karna asked for Brahmastra, Dronacharya denied because his character was not good. Ashwatthama, though he was Brahmana Putra, he was also an association of Karna and Duryodhana. And because of the wrong association, he also had very demonic tendencies, Ashwatthama. But Dronacharya was knowing all this, but still he gave Brahmastra to Ashwatthama. The only reason was his attachment. So this attachment is the cause of all miseries. We know so many things that we have to do. We know so many things that should be done. but we are not able to do. Why? Because of our own attachment, our own material attachments. This attachment makes powerful powerless. Though Dronacharya was most powerful, he was the authority there, but he became powerless. And he gave this science of Brahmastra to Ashwatthama. We see in case of Uttanapad also. Uttanapad was the most powerful king, but because of the attachment towards Suruchi, he became so helpless and so powerless that he couldn't even satisfy the desire of his 5-year-old son. What big was his desire? He was just desiring to sit on his lap, but because of attachment towards Suruchi was saying that if you make Dhruva sit on your lap, then I am not going to cooperate you in your sense gratification. So because of that attachment, Uttanapad could not fulfill desire of one of his very dear sons, Dhruva, a small boy of 5 years. Even we see Mahabharata also, that Dhritarashtra, he was attached to his son, 100 Kauravas, and he knew that they all are going to die. The first statement, the first word which Dhritarashtra speaks in Bhagavad Gita was Dharmashuddha. He knew that this place has influence of Dharma, and only Dharmic people will come out victorious after this battle. And all the Adharmic people will be uprooted by Krishna, who is father of Dharma. He was knowing very well that my sons are going to die, but still he never asked them to stop fighting. Why? Because he was so attached. So attached to whom? To his Rashtra. That is why his name is Dhritarashtra. He was holding on to his throne. So similarly, we all are also facing various kind of attachments in our spiritual journey, and those attachments are keeping us aloof from Krishna consciousness. Those attachments are a big obstacle, a big hindrance in our journey towards Krishna consciousness. So here, in the purport, it is mentioned that atomic bomb, there is no counter weapon to neutralize the effects, but the subtle signs, the action of Brahmastra can be counteracted. So the son of Dronacharya did not know the art of counteracting the weapon, therefore Arjuna was asked to counteract it by the power of his own weapon. So now here Krishna is telling Arjuna, you should go ahead and counteract this weapon. Because in enthusiasm, Ashwatthama has learned how to throw the weapon, but now he never learned how to retract it. Because of that, and Ashwatthama was not a Brahmana. Everywhere in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam or various other scriptures, he is mentioned as Brahmabandhu. Never he is mentioned as Brahmana. He is always mentioned as Brahmabandhu. Brahmabandhu means he is a relative of Brahmanas. He is not relative. He is not Brahmana. He is son of a Brahmana, but he is not Brahmana. Though he is coming in the same family, but still he is not Brahmana. Because how one becomes Brahmana is by qualification. The qualification which I spoken in Bhagavad Gita, if one has those qualifications, then one can say that he has the qualification to become Brahmana. Just by taking birth, it's a Brahmana family, it doesn't qualify him to be a Brahmana. So this Ashwatthama was having Shudra kind of qualities. He was not Brahmana. So he learned Brahmastra, but he did not learn how to retract it. So similarly in this verse signifies the importance of surrender. How Arjuna surrendered and how Arjuna came out of it. This also signifies the power of attachment. How attachment makes a powerful personality powerless. I explained to Dronacharya, he was not supposed to teach this science to Ashwatthama, but he taught this science. And because of teaching that, because of doing adharma, and why he did adharma? Because he was attached. So most of the dharmas happen in this world because we are attached to our own ideas of sense gratification. And that is why this attachment leads to misery. And this Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, they are the signs how to manage our attachments. See, there is one verse in Shrimadbhagavatam which says the attachment to material things, they will pull us down into the material realm. They will pull us down into the tamasic world. But the same attachment towards the sadhu, sa eva sadhu shukrito, prasangam ajaram pasham, atmanaha paviyogitu, sa eva sadhu shukrito, moksha dwaram pavrati. But the similar attachment, if it is shifted to a saintly personality, then moksha dwaram pavrati, the doors of liberation, the doors of salvation will open. The doors of mukti, moksha will open. Just we have to shift the attachment which we have towards our family, the attachment which we are having towards our own ideal of sense gratification. If we shift that attachment towards a perfect saintly personality, then the doors of moksha will open. We have seen that photo which I was mentioning in the beginning of this class. That photo was like throughout the day yesterday I was thinking about the same photo. How the center once was having 200 brahmacharis.
Which photo? Oh, the mandir.
Yeah.
Oh, temple, yeah. With the Prabhupada.
With Prabhupada was there were 200 brahmacharis.
Yes.
Such a big, vibrant temple it was. And then we see the power of, and why they all joined? Because somehow or other Prabhupada, they got attached to Prabhupada. And just by becoming attached to Prabhupada, they could leave this material world very easily. So this attachment to sadhu is the most powerful thing. So this attachment, in Hindi we call it asakti. We call it asakti. The name itself suggests this is asakti. ये आसक्ति है, जा नहीं सकती. This is asakti. So attachment will remain forever in our heart. If it can only be transformed from material things to spiritual things. The person who is living a life without attachments, he cannot sustain himself. He will have to become attached. Prabhupada says if you are not attached with God, you will have to become attached with God. G-O-D, God, and opposite is dog. Yeah, so you'll have to attach with, you'll become attached with dog. So the best thing is we shift our attachment toward God. And how to shift? The best way to shift our attachment toward God is to shift our attachment towards the living personality who is a pure devotee. In Shrimadbhagavatam, 6th canto, in Ajamila Prasana, you all remember the story of Ajamila? Do you remember the story of Ajamila? You've heard the story?
Was that the one with the rock? No. No.
So this Ajamila, in that story, it is mentioned that what is the fastest way of purifying oneself? And there were certain methods, various other ways, atonement, and then there is jnana, and then there is bhakti, and within bhakti process also, what is the highest process to get purified? So there is a very nice verse in that connection. It says, Nahi tatha gavan rajan puyeta tapabhivi yatha krishna pita prana tat purusha nishevaya. Nahi tatha gavan rajan. There is no other way to purify ourselves with such a great pace other than taking shelter of a devotee who has given everything. Yatha Krishna Pita Prana, the one who has offered his whole life to Krishna. If somehow we can serve that personality, somehow we can please that personality, then that is the fastest way to purify ourselves. And we have seen the miracle. All these hippies and and Westerners, they took shelter of Srila Prabhupada. Though they are so materially engrossed, we see here, you all are living with them. You all have much more experience about the lifestyles they are following. So they are totally engrossed, but they somehow got attached to Prabhupada and everything transformed from them. From their head to their toe, everything got transformed. Their dress, their hairstyle, their way of thinking, their goal in their life, the things they were eating, the talks which they discussed, everything got changed just because of attachment to one person. And as soon as Srila Prabhupada disappeared, many of them got disappeared also. Srila Prabhupada. Why? Because they were very attached to Srila Prabhupada. But after Srila Prabhupada, that connection they never felt with anyone. So after Srila Prabhupada, they all disappeared. Many of them disappeared. Few of them remained and they continued the legacy of Srila Prabhupada. And they, made this organization so big and so humongous. So this attachment is the cause of all miseries and it is the solution of all miseries. If it is donated towards devotees, it will help us to advance in spiritual life. But if it is diverted toward material things, it will take us down. Very fast, it will take us down. So, this attachment we can understand by one more thing. You see, I always give this example. When, you are going to a showroom to purchase a car, and let's suppose before purchasing, if some big rock falls on that car, will you get disturbed? No. But just after you have done some monetary exchanges and you have owned that car, and now if something falls on it, then you feel great pain with it. And similarly, you have purchased a Cybertruck, as Prabhuji has, a big car, and you have gone out for a puja and everything, and in that puja ceremony only, someone comes, some boy comes and he scratches it, the car. How you will feel it? That scratch is not on the car, it is that goes.
It actually happened, Prabhuji.
It happened with you.
During going towards this.
Okay.
I'll tell you that. That's also.
So it hurts very deeply. So like that, if the scratch is on your car and you are walking and you are driving the car in a very frustrated mood, and then you see on the nearby road there is an even more expensive car which is crashed due to some accident, completely crashed. You see that car and you feel sorry for that person, but again you are submerged in the thoughts that why someone has put scratch on my car. There the whole car was demolished, but still you are feeling a bit sorry for them. But here you are again completely engrossed because this car is owned by you. You are attached to this car, and that car you are not at all attached. It is not impacting you. This is the power of attachment. As soon as we become attached, he is my son, he is my wife, and she is my wife, he is my husband, he is my father, he is my mother,
Family.
and they are my family, this is my nation. So this bring us down into the ocean of miseries, ocean of sorrow, as soon as we identify. So that is why this material attachment needs to be transformed. It needs to be transformed from material platform to spiritual platform. And this is where Shrimadbhagavatam, daily reading of Shrimadbhagavatam, discussion of Shrimadbhagavatam, and the holy name, it helps us a lot in transforming our attachments from material world to spiritual world. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shrimadbhagavatam Mahapuran ki thoughts coming in our mind are not in line with Shastra, it is mental speculation. See, there is a great difference between mental speculation and thinking over scriptures, thinking on scriptures, or a discussion on scriptures, or analyzing scriptures. Analyzing scriptures means we are within the domain of scriptures, we are within the domain of Sadhu Guru Shastra. We are not crossing that boundary. But if we are crossing the boundary and we are going beyond Sadhu Guru Shastra, it is mean we are doing mental speculation. That is a clear difference. Okay.
Sorry?
So if everyone's a spirit soul and we all have attachments to Krishna, is it because everyone's part and parcel of Krishna? Could we have an attachment to them on a spiritual level?
Yes, can you again repeat the question? Do we have
The
attachment?
question is that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna.
Yeah.
We are attached to people, okay? It's better to have attachment on the spiritual level also? This question.
Yeah, that is required. No, we cannot get away with attachments. Attachment will always remain within us. It is integral part of our existence, soul's existence. Soul is always attached. So if we are not attached to spiritual things, then we will become automatically attached to material things.
Wow.
So that is why being in association with devotees, it will solve so many problems. Because just being in association of devotees, we keep getting attached to various other things. Like when you came here, you must be having some other influence also at your home. But you came here and you discussed, you heard so many lectures, you met with so many persons, and you saw so many temples around, and you heard Maharaj lectures also. That is the way of developing attachment. By association with someone, we develop attachment. There is a verse in Bhagavad Gita, if you all have heard this verse. This verse is Dhyato Vishyanam Sangasteshu Pujayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama. By association, our desires transforms. So now when we are associating with saintly persons, our desires will also reflect that as association. So yes, it is very much required that we should become attached to sadhu, to saintly personalities. And if we are attached, then we are free. I am here just because of attachment. I was in college and with the mood of enjoyment, I went there, but then Vaishnava Maharaj came. And because of his such nice personality, his merciful behavior, his tolerance and many other divine qualities, we all got attached to him. And because he was very patient in hearing us, he was very patiently answering all our queries, so that made us very attached to him. And because of that attachment, everything changed. So we can understand how powerful this attachment is towards saintly person. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Hare Krishna, as always, very good, nice class. So my question is, we always we try to surrender many times, right? We give wholeheartedly to Krishna, and sometimes we surrender just for spiritual reason. We try to achieve something spiritually, and we surrender to Krishna, we pray to Krishna, but still the results are delayed, or we don't know when the results will come. So what is the best way? Just continue to pray and wait for the result, or is just Krishna trying to purify us, saying this is the process of purification, keep doing what you're doing and eventually it will happen.
Very nice question you have asked. So bro, I will tell from my one of my experiences. When I joined ashram, Brahmachari ashram, and then I thought I have become a pure devotee now, because I have surrendered my life to Krishna. That process is done now. I have surrendered. Krishna says, the one who surrenders, he will come back to me. Sadharman pratyajya mam ekam sharanam braja. Then I surrendered. But still, my mind was creating so many problems. I was facing so many issues still. Then I inquired my Guru at that time, my Siksha Guru at that time, under whom I was getting brahmacharya training. I asked him that, Prabhu, I have taken full shelter of Krishna. I have surrendered my life completely to Krishna. Why I am getting miseries then? Then he gave a very wonderful answer. He said, surrender is not one-time process. Surrender is a continuous process. Every moment we have to surrender to Krishna. Various times in a day, at every moment, we are getting so many thoughts of sense gratification. At every moment, rejecting all those thoughts, you will have to take shelter of Krishna or his pure devotees. This is a continuous process. Surrender is not one-time event. It is a continuous process. And with surrender, in this process of surrender, there are three things which one should take care of. One should be very enthusiastic while surrendering to Lord or devotees. Usaha. One should be very determined because there will be a lot of tests, examinations in between, and so many tough situations will come where the one who is determined will only stand. So this determination is also required. And the last thing which is required is dhairya. Dhairya means patience. One will have to wait. Surrender means that I am ready to wait. There is a great difference between love and lust. Lust is hankering. Lust is like hankering or being very anxious when I get. And love is waiting for the mercy. I will, whatever the situation is, I will keep serving you, and it is dependent upon you when you consider me fit for the mercy. So I will wait. So, in lust, there is this kind of feeling. Everything we want fast results when we have lust. But when we have pure love, we are ready to wait for millions of lifetimes. The Vaishnava Maharaj narrated the story of Govinda. Mukunda. Maharaj narrated that story. You remember that story? Which Maharaj narrated? When Mahaprabhu chastised Mukunda and said, I will not give you darshan till 5 million lifetimes. Millions of lifetimes. And still Mukunda was dancing in ecstasy. That at least it is sure, now you have ensured that after billions of lifetimes I will get your darshan. So now, what I have to do, I have to just wait for 1 million lifetimes. So I am starting. I have started my journey, and I will wait for your mercy. So this is how one should be patient.
So he started jumping. That was enthusiasm. He was ready to wait for 1 million years. So it was patience.
Yeah, it was patience. With enthusiasm, with great determination, and with a lot of patience. So these are three very integral qualities of surrender. Yes,
Thank you for explaining this thing, because many times people consider spiritual life to be similar to the material life.
Yeah.
Well, they progress so easily in material life, and they think that, okay, this is my niche, I can do this in spiritual life. But Krishna will test you every second.
Yeah.
More you progress, more the exams.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that it's mine, that's it. I'm this way, remember the words of Kunti Maharani, Namo Kinchana, what is the verse?
Namo Kinchana Vittaya, Nirvitta Guruvate, Atma Ramaya Shantaya, Keval Vyapati.
You were talking about the attachment thing. And he talked about the Prabhupada. When Prabhupada was there, everybody was attached to Prabhupada, and when the Prabhupada left, there was a situation where people started living the moment.
Yeah.
It was something that they don't understand the relation between Guru and disciple, or what happened. And it happens every time that when Guru left, there's a situation where they get the disciples feel that void and they leave the moment. How can we keep them going?
Yeah, that is one of the most important questions, and that is also a subject matter of great study and But again, yes, we know this that there is an established succession. After one guru, when he is disappearing, he creates so many other disciples to take care of his existing disciples. So he creates so many leaders. That is how the legacy continues. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada also has created many leaders. But if some major acharya, some main acharya of the sampradaya, when he leaves, these things are bound to happen. Srila Prabhupada was not an ordinary acharya, he was unparalleled acharya. Na bhuto na bhavishyati. So he was very special. Srila Prabhupada was very special. So because of that, these things were bound to happen. That kind of like Srila Prabhupada, everyone used to say he was ocean of mercy. That kind of personality is very difficult to match or to finish. Gap is very difficult. So I think it was very natural for everyone that once they were in contact with Srila Prabhupada, they used to find if there is anyone of that stature, that kind of qualities. To match Srila Prabhupada was very difficult. And Srila Prabhupada left in a it was a very small period. Yeah, within 10 years. Generally when Acharya they live for 50 years, 60 years, 70 years. They get a lot of time.
That makes sense.
And in our small movement, within 10 years, and Srila Prabhupada was not stable at one center. He was running around the world. He had the biggest mission. So he was running around everywhere in the world. 14 times he had traveled the whole globe in 10 years. We can understand his schedule. So maybe that was also a reason why because Srila Prabhupada was traveling a lot. And in such a small time, he has created this huge organization. So I think few people, because of not enough association of Srila Prabhupada, they could not become mature enough to sustain devotion service. There is one more example which I can give. See, if there is a gardener, he is taking care of a plant very nicely by giving water every day and by supplying all the nourishments to the plant every day. But gradually this plant needs to develop its roots very deep inside, so that without watering also it can absorb the moisture from within. If that tree is not able to grow its roots very deep, then this Mali is not going to give water every day.
Yes.
We don't see people watering very big trees because they are supposed to get nourishment. They are supposed to become self-inspired. So similarly, when we are under a guru, we must develop this kind of quality that we can derive nourishment ourselves from scriptures, from various other lectures, from darshans, from association of devotees. If we are too much dependent upon just association, just physical association, so that is why from physical association, this Mani association is considered even more important, even more powerful. Yes. So one need to develop that kind of deeper roots in spirituality. So maybe that was missing, because that 10 years is a very short thing. See, we all have spent 15-20 years in Krishna consciousness movement, and they all were just in contact with Prabhupada. Some were in contact just for 2-3 years. They barely joined Islam, and then Srila Prabhupada left. So the situation was very different that time.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you. Do you think that we need to bring this awareness that, I was feeling the same, that, hey, Vani is more important. But really, the disciples of Guru create a great void. And then we understand that, I need a physical association also. So theoretically, we may say that Vani is important. We believe that, but it is a void.
Yeah, it is a void. The physical absence of Acharya, it creates a void. Definitely creates a void. Thank you. We will conclude here. Hare Krishna, Radharashna, Mahaprabhu, Ki Jai, Shrimadbhagavatam, Ki Jai, Upasthita Gaura Ki Jai, Gaura Premanande.
His Grace Hari Bhakti Prabhu Ki
Jai.